You're listening to WRUU-LP, Savannah, Georgia, 107.5 FM, WRUU.org. We are Savannah Soundings, community radio with global soul.
Check, check, 1, 2. Look like a little country, some rock and roll and blues. 'Cause we sure love playing for good people like you. Let me know if you can hear me. Check, check, 1, 2.
Welcome to Music Local and Sustainable, the radio show that features discussions with and the music of local musicians. I am your host, Dave Lake. Tonight, we are talking with local singer Jane Ogle, best known for her recent productions of Queen of Cool and Billy in Bluffton. Welcome, Jane Ogle.
Thank you, Dave. It's great to be here.
Why the full productions that you do, such as the Queen of Cool?
Oh, that's a good question. I started putting together tribute shows a few years ago, and people really just seemed to gravitate towards one artist or another. Billie Holiday was the first one I put together. I have had a challenging time of it, in a way, finding a good fit with a band since I moved to Savannah. Setting up my own band has kind of been my focus, and putting together these kinds of productions just seems to work and attract an audience, and there's only so many venues to go around, particularly for jazz music. So that's kind of where it came from. Those two shows, like you said, as productions in and of themselves, they can be taken anywhere. They can be performed in all kinds of different venues or clubs, and people seem to enjoy hearing it over and over. Plus the fact that we never play the same song the same way twice in a row. It keeps things fresh. There's something new to explore with every exposure.
It sounds like the selection of Billie Holiday and Peggy Lee were the result of suggestions that people have made? Or is that your interest?
Billie Holiday was my idea, certainly an extremely important influence on my musical tastes and approaches. And Peggy Lee was a suggestion by Jared Hall, actually, from his work with the Trinity United Methodist Church and their Trinity Sanctuary concert series. So both of those shows actually have been produced as part of the Trinity Sanctuary concert series, which is great. And Jared's a great artist to work with and brings lots of energy to any project and lots of enthusiasm to Savannah in general and to that Peggy Lee project in particular.
Did he say why Peggy Lee?
He was particularly interested in the way she blended Western swing with popular jazz. So I say that in terms of the big band jazz that she came out of with Benny Goodman. And then when she moved to the West Coast with her husband at the time, Dave Barber, and they started getting into more of the, I'm going to call it LA cool jazz. They were more interested in the music and arrangements themselves and less interested in the dance band aspect of popular music at the time. So he was kind of keyed into, again, that Western swing influence, which if you listen to the kind of almost, I want to call it boogie-woogie or honky-tonk style that he plays so well. I mean, he can play all kinds of styles so well, but he's really great with the honky-tonk, and so his ear picks up on those kinds of influences. So we tried to pick up on a lot of her early material in that way. But it's hard to resist the show tunes that she interpreted so well also. So we covered everything.
When I saw the Billie Holiday piece, it was with a smaller combo. Then when I saw probably the only performance so far of the Peggy Lee, and that was with a bigger combo. With each piece, do you have a particular combination of people in mind, or does it vary each time you perform it?
A great deal depends on who's available on any given date. There's a tremendous depth of talent in Savannah. People who we like working together. We have an affinity for similar styles of music. A lot of the players here are tremendously talented sight readers, and so you can put sheet music in front of them and they will play it like they've been playing it their whole lives. So I've been really fortunate to be able to put together combos for different venues and different staging and different instrumentation sounds that you want to achieve kind of on the fly. People refer to it as a pickup band. But you want to suit your sound to the space that you're in and the intimacy or lack thereof of that space. Typically, venues are small around here. So if you put too large a band together, it can be really quite overwhelming to the intimacy that you're trying to achieve, and the connection you're going to make with your audience is going to be completely different with a 17-piece band than with the 3-piece band. So we can do either of those shows at either of those extremes and everything in between. It just really depends on where we are and how large the audience.
I saw the Billie Holiday in a small venue, the Roasting Room over in Bluffton, and therefore you had a trio. The keyboard is a natural, and then I guess you feel you like some sort of rhythm background along with the keyboard.
If you ask any pianist, they will be more than happy to have somebody holding the bass and taking care of that bass line so that they can have more freedom with melody without having to be quite so concerned with holding the entire bottom of the sound. It really is a lead instrument, so having the bass gives the pianist more freedom to lead.
Do you have a chance to rehearse with the musicians, or is it pretty much sight reading?
Well, we try to rehearse as much as we can. We're talking about people who are pretty darn busy. So we make the time as we need to. There have been times that we've performed together without much rehearsal, but again, with that kind of talent, we can make it work and sound really good.
Let's just take the Billy in Bluffton.
Interestingly, because of our hectic schedules, we never got to rehearse all together, all three of us. Mark Chesino was the bassist on that show, and he and I rehearsed together for a few hours and ran the whole show down. And then the following week, Brendan Pohl and I were able to get together, again, ran the whole show down from start to finish with hardly a break. And then we all got together for the performance and played. And I hope you, as the audience member, would be the best one to judge. I hope it sounded as though we had all played together before. That's what happens sometimes. But again, there's a quality, people have referred to it to me as listening well. We have to hear each other. Like physically, we have to have the technology on the stage to be able to hear one another, but we also have to have listening skills and hear where anyone is in the song at any given moment, or where they're going with their sense of where the solo might take them. If we're not listening to each other in that way, then things just start to get a little bit clunky, even if you have rehearsed a song to death. We all keep up that skill, and that's how great performances and great inspiration, I think, come together. You know, we inspire each other to do different things with a song in the moment in that way by listening to each other.
The real nice things about these programmatic pieces is that you tell the history of the artist as well as sing the songs, and put the songs in the context of their life and their career. How do you go about researching the life and the career of these artists?
That's probably my favorite part. In one of my previous professional lives, I was a researcher and a writer, and so I love going back to those skills and bringing them into music now. And that, to me, is what makes a tribute show really interesting, like a kind of a cabaret performance. If you don't have your patter buttoned down, particularly when you're talking about a single artist and all of their influences and how their pitfalls and climaxes and so forth in their life influence their work, then it's just a collection of songs, which is nice, but it could be so much more than that. I do a lot of research online with tremendous fan bases out there for just about any great artist you could name, and a lot of expertise in terms of the discography of Billie Holiday, of Peggy Lee, people who are devoting themselves largely on a volunteer basis to maintaining a catalog of every recording they ever made, whether it was released or not, and finding really interesting details about the composers, the other performers, what else was going on in their lives at the time. Had they suffered a loss? Had they made a major deal? All of those things come together and inspire different parts of the story. It's the emotional arc of discussing someone's life or career. I really try hard to capture the emotion involved in all of these different aspects of someone's work.
Are those scripted and memorized, or do you sort of get a sense of what you want to say and then sort of ad-lib it?
I script it, and I try to memorize as much of that script as I can. Frequently, we have a time limit for a show, or at least a sense of what the ideal length of time is to keep people in their seats, especially if we don't have an intermission. There's only so much patter, even if it's a really interesting story. There's only so much patter people want to listen to. They do want to hear the music. So I try to keep those pretty tight. If you start to ad-lib, you do start to tend to ramble a bit. So I think it's a good idea to write your thoughts down and know where you want to go with them.
Tonight we're talking with local performer Jane Ogle. We'll stick with the Billie Holiday tribute. Is there a part of that you found the greatest pathos or heartrending or most inspirational?
There are a couple of points in the show where I have a tendency to get choked up. One is the comeback story, because everybody loves a comeback story, and Billie Holiday had a few. She had been arrested for drug possession and convicted and went to jail. And when she was released from prison, she flew home. And as soon as she got onto the tarmac, her dog, which was a great big boxer, tackled her because he was so excited to see her. And it was a media sensation. And 3 weeks after that, she was on stage at Carnegie Hall doing a comeback concert.
Let's listen to that section of the tribute.
Less than 1 year later, with time off for good behavior, Billie is released. And she flies into Newark Airport and steps off the plane and is promptly tackled by her dog onto the tarmac because he loves her as much as ever. 3 weeks later, she's standing on stage at Carnegie Hall for a big old comeback concert because her fans love her as much as ever. So there's this famous story about how she pinned her famous gardenias into her hair and stabbed herself in the scalp. Blood running into her ear. She keeps singing. She just keeps singing. There's a reality show on at the time. This is, back in the late 40s. It's called The Comeback Story. She's interviewed on that show. She embarks on a European tour. She gets interviewed on The Tonight Show. Billie comes back swinging. She lost her cabaret card as a result of her conviction, and that meant that she was no longer allowed to perform in venues that served alcohol in New York City. And New York City was a center of the jazz galaxy. She toured frequently. There's nothing particularly glamorous about touring, but she lived in New York. So that really did hurt her career. And she performed in fear. When she did get offers from different venues, she would take them because she needed the money, but she was afraid of getting arrested practically every time she performed from then on out.
Is there a Billie Holiday song that you find most inspirational?
God Bless the Child probably would rank highly. She wrote it, and it's poignant in its content. It's beautifully composed. It's interesting to sing. It's interesting to find my way in that song. Finding my way in a song that's so iconically linked to her. Because I'm not trying to sound exactly like her. I'm trying to find my voice in that song and finding my emotion in that lyric. So that's interesting for me.
God shall give, them that's not shall lose. So the Bible says, and it still is news. Mama may have, Papa may have. God bless the child that's got his own. Yes, the strong get more, while the weak ones fade. Empty pockets don't ever make the grave. Mama may have, Papa may have. God bless the child that's got his own. He's got his own. Mommy, you got lots of friends crowded round your door. When you're gone and spending it, they don't come no more. Rich relations give dressed up bread and such. You can't help yourself, but don't take too much. Mama may have, Papa may have. God bless the child that's got his own. That's got his own. crust of bread and such. You can help yourself, but don't take too much. Mama may have, Papa may have. God bless the child that's got his own. Ooh, it's got his own. Rich relations they may have. God blesses the child that's got his own. That's got his own. Thank you. Brendan Polk on piano, Mark Chesano on bass. Beautiful.
It's really hard for me to pick favorites of anything. I love all the songs that we chose for that show, and a number of others that didn't make it into the show. So I really get a kick and a lot of inspiration out of everything from the blues tunes. There's some really sassy blues tunes in that show, and the ballads. And I Cover the Waterfront is one of those ballads that I have this visual in my head of standing at a dock waiting for my beloved's ship to come in, kind of a thing that passes before my eyes practically every time I sing that song.
Away from the city that hurts and mocks, I'm standing alone by the desolate docks, in the still and the chill of the night. I see the horizon, that great unknown. My heart has an ache, it's as heavy as stone. Will the dawn coming on make it light? I cover the waterfront. I'm watching the sea. Will the one I love be coming back to me? I cover the waterfront in search of my love, and I'm covered by a starless sky above. Here am I, patiently waiting, hoping and longing. Oh, how I yearn. Where are you? Are you forgetting? Do you remember? Will you return? I cover the waterfront. I'm watching the sea. Will the one I love be coming back to me? Will the one I love must soon return to me?
So I think they're all great. It's really fun to sing all of it.